Hey YouTube, welcome to Sunkerns Lab. Today I have an OU battle on Pokemon Showdown, and I'm using my Volturn team that I showcased in the video at the end of last week, I think Friday or so, and this was a really great battle. It was pretty close, and it came down to a certain circumstance that ended up playing out a certain way, and I don't want to give any spoilers, but yeah, it was a good battle, so I hope you enjoyed the battle. And anyway, looking at my opponent's team, he has a Thunder's Tea and a Scizor, and I'm figuring these are going to be his sort of Volturn core, I guess you could say. Like, he has a combo of Volturn there, so maybe he might want to lead with one of those to possibly get some initiative, but then again, I'm thinking he might not want to because I do have a Jolteon to take the Volt Switch. I do have Gliscor for Scizor, so I'm thinking more than likely he's going to want to lead with his Ferrothorn because Ferrothorn gets up hazards. My team hates hazards because it's a Volt Switch team. A Volturn team, excuse me, and I really don't want to have Stealth Rocks on the field with my Staraptor still alive because Staraptor hates Stealth Rocks, and not to mention with Brave Bird recoil and stuff, does not want to be taking Stealth Rock damage on top of that. So I'm actually predicting him to lead with his Ferrothorn, so I'm going to lead with my Staraptor because it's pretty much the only thing I have to deal with a Ferrothorn, because I can go for the close combat and take it out, or I can go for the Brave Bird and damage it a great amount. So he does end up leading with his Ferrothorn, but he doesn't want to stay in for a close combat, so he's going to switch out into his Thunder's Tea, and I'm going to go straight for the U-turn because honestly I know for a fact he's going to switch out, and I don't want to be stuck in here on Brave Bird or something. So I go for the I go for the U-turn, and I U-turn out to my Wobbuffet, and for some reason I assumed that this thing was going to set up on me without any prior knowledge of it. I just assumed, so I went for the Encore. It was a safe move at the time, but the next couple turns, you'll see I make some pretty bad plays. Now, if he brings in this Politoed, I go for the Encore, obviously, it doesn't do anything, and I'm predicting him to go for the Toxic, because, for some reason, once again, I'm poorly assuming that this Politoed is defensive, and it might want to go for the Toxic on me, but instead, this thing turns out to be Specs, and it smashes my Gliscor right in the face with a Hydro Pump, and Gliscor does not like that at all. He goes down in one hit, straight OKO, clean OKO, and then I bring in my Wobbuffet thinking I could take one in Miracle, but nope, Wobbuffet does not take it either. So I basically wasted 2 Pokemon for absolutely nothing, which is pretty stupid. And then I bring in my Staraptor, and once again, another stupid play because my Staraptor can't OKO this thing, and I knew that for a fact, but I still went into it thinking that I could outspeed and possibly kill. But he ends up missing the Hydro Pump anyway, so it ends up working out for me. But once again, this was a really bad play on my part. A series of bad plays. I should have went into my Jolteon and just killed it off with a Jolteon. So anyway, then he brings in his Thunder's Tea, and because he brings it in on a Staraptor, I'm assuming that it's Scarfed. Because, you know, Thunder's Tea is only 101, it doesn't necessarily guarantee an outspeed unless it's Scarfed, so I'm assuming it's Scarfed. So I bring in my Jolteon, predicting him to go for the Electric type move, but he doesn't, and then I'm able to outspeed on the next turn and go for the Hidden Power Ice. And the thing is about that is, because I outsped him, I know for a fact he's not Scarfed, which doesn't really matter now, but he wasn't actually Scarfed, so I could have stayed in and killed him with my Staraptor. But anyway, he brings in his Keldeo, goes for the Secret Sword on my Jolteon. I'm able to go into my Rotom-W now, which I know can take on this Keldeo. It's my only check to half of his team at this point, is his Rotom-W. I need to get rid of this Ferrothorn, like, now, because as long as I can get rid of this Ferrothorn, my Rotom-W has a field day with the rest of his team, so I am able to go for the Volt Switch on the Ferrothorn, switch in, and then I'm able to go out to my Staraptor, and now my Staraptor is able to go straight for a Brave Bird. I don't want to play any games with... Oh, excuse me, sorry, I have, like, the hiccups. I don't want to play any games with this Scizor switching in and setting up a Sword Dance on me or something, so I'm going to go straight for the Brave Bird. And, you know, now that he's down to that point of damage, he's absolutely forced to go for the Bullet Punch, which gives me a free switch right into my Rotom-W, which can take anything that Scizor has to offer. Well, at least a Bullet Punch, and it can take any form of Bullet Punch from Scizor, Banded, Life Orb, whatever, and I'm able to take that very nicely, and I'm basically back at full health. Well, not really, I'm close to full health, and I know I need to keep this thing healthy, so instead of going for a Hydro Pump, I'm going to go straight for the Volt Switch, predicting the Ferrothorn to switch in, and he doesn't switching into his Ferrothorn, which is nice, and now I'm able to switch out, I believe, straight back out into my Staraptor, because at this point, I really need damage on this thing. There's no option. I absolutely have to get damage on this Ferrothorn. So I do end up going for the Brave Bird on this turn, and I do a huge chunk of damage to him, almost 50%. But unfortunately, I'm basically gonna die to the combination of Iron Bobs and Recoil, and then he's just gonna finish me off with the Gyro Ball. So my Staraptor is gone, which means that my Scarfer is gone, which means I have to rely on possible Haxorus sweep here. So I go for the Dragon Dance, and I was really hoping that he would go for some stupid Thunder Wave or something because I have a Lumberry. But nope, he goes straight for the Gyro Ball, and I know for a fact I can't take another one, obviously, judging by that damage. So I'm just gonna go straight for the Earthquake rather than any other move. I don't have a fighting type move on this Haxorus for some reason, and he ends up taking me out in the second turn with a Gyro Ball. And you know, this Ferrothorn is still alive and it's at a decent amount of health, but I'm confident in my Rotom Wash. I really am confident that he can take this thing out with a Hydro Pump, with a Pumper, and he does end up taking him out with a Rain boosted, Stab boosted Hydro Pump. And I was really happy about that because if that was not the case, I would have lost right here. But now I have my Rotom Wash. He has a Tentacruel. I don't know if this thing has Toxic, and I don't know if it has, you know, any other moves that it has. So he ends up going for the Scald, and at this point, I know for a fact what he's trying to do. He doesn't have Toxic, and he's fishing for a burn. So I need to kill this thing as soon as possible because I cannot get burned. Because as long as I don't get burned, I can win this match still. Because I can outspeed the Scizor if he doesn't run any speed, and I can live any hit from the Keldeo. So he goes for 2 Scalds in a row. I go for 2 Volt Switches. He does not get the burn yet, and I'm thinking in my head, this is great. Please don't get the burn. If you do not get the burn, I win. And on the next turn, he ends up going for the Protect. I don't know what logic he had behind this. All he's really doing is letting me get more health back. But obviously I go for the Volt Switch again on his Protect, and this is the moment of truth. If he gets the burn, I lose. If he doesn't get the burn, I win. He goes for the Scald, and he gets the burn. So, you know, it's not like I'm complaining about hacks because it was a 1-3 chance, and you know, it's a 30% chance, and he got it on the 3rd try. So, it was a 1-in-3 chance, and it was what it was. But you know, effectively, he's forced to go onto his Keldeo to kill me off, and he goes for the Secret Sword. It doesn't kill me, and as you can see, after this Pain Split, I'm actually up to the point where if I wasn't burned, like I said before, if I wasn't burned, I would have been able to live. I would be at, like, over 70% right now, and I'd be able to take this Secret Sword with no issue whatsoever, kill him off with a Volt Switch, and I would be able to take out his Scizor on the next turn, assuming that I'm faster than him, which I run enough speed on. Well, I run not 0 speed IVs on Rotom. No, I don't run a negative speed nature on Rotom. That way I can outspeed minimum speed Scizors. But I did end up losing this battle, but I felt like it was such a good battle, and not necessarily that I played so well, but the ending there, it was really close, and you know, it was worth uploading. I didn't really play all that well this battle, to be completely honest with you. I made a lot of bad mistakes, but the ending, this guy played well in the sense that he, you know, he got me to the point where I had no choices left. I mean, I had to rely on luck, basically, if I wanted to win, and I didn't get my luck, so, you know, I guess that's that. So, this was a great battle. I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. I hope it was as enjoyable for you as it was for me. I don't really have much else to say about it. Kind of lost my train of thought. But yeah, I mean, that burn was important, but it wasn't. I'm not really going to call it hacks because it was a 1-in-3 chance, and he got it on the 3rd try. I mean, it worked exactly how it's supposed to. So I'm not complaining about hacks, but it would have been interesting to see the game play out without that burn. Just because obviously I'm pretty confident that I could have won. I know for a fact I could have won actually if his Scizor was slower than me. It just would have been interesting to see what kind of speed investment his Scizor had, if any. So, yeah, I guess that's the end of this battle. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found it as close and exciting, I guess, as I built it up to be. So, yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to click the like button or leave a comment, depending on whatever you feel like doing. And feel free to click the buttons on your screen to go to the next video once it's uploaded, or the previous Pokemon Showdown battle, and you can also subscribe from that screen. So, yeah, I guess that's the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.